I've been trying out Samsung's latest smartwatch, the Galaxy Watch 8, running Wear OS 6, and all I gotta say is, damn. I'm Mark, I make no BS tech reviews, so if that's something that you're interested in, definitely subscribe because I always say it how it is. The design of the Watch 8 has been changed. The Watch 7 had this circular design and this 8 has this kind of squircle design. It's a circle within a kind of square. At first I was like, hey, pick one, circle or square. But then it kind of grew on me. I mean, this watch looks pretty darn good. Is it going to win any beauty awards? No. Am I? No. Now, to get the price out of the way, this watch is actually pretty darn affordable, all things considered, whenever it comes to smartwatches, and that, of course, is because, it's Samsung. I mean, they have incredible deals. Its price is $350. However, if you trade in, you can get up to $200 off, bringing the price down to just $99. Or even if you don't trade in, you're not trading anything in, Samsung is still going to give you $50 off the watch just because they can. I don't know. They love losing money, I guess. Anyway, if you guys are interested in this watch, I'll have a link down below that'll take you straight to Samsung's website. Now, if you don't like thick watches, and I don't blame you because they're thick, this one might be for you. This thing is thin, like very thin. You can barely feel it on your wrist, which is something I like. And another thing I like is this rubber strap. Oh my God, they did it so good. First of all, the extra slack goes inside of your, inside of the strap. So it's not just like flapping around, which, is the best. And also the material it's made from, it's not, I mean, it has to be high quality because I believe it was the Google Pixel Watch 1 or the second one. It kept leaving like this burn effect on my wrist. Like my entire wrist got like red and it started like peeling, like gross. But the quality of this band, it doesn't leave anything on my wrist, which is obviously a good thing. I was walking around like a zombie. What's up with that? But see, other than the fact that I have DNA apparently from a fully grown male gorilla, the design change is not only visual, because due to the tighter lug system, the strap sits better on the watch and therefore the watch sits better on your wrist, therefore better heart rate readings, and that is something that I found to be true. More on that later. Also, I gotta say, Samsung, thank you for giving your base model flagship watches good build quality, because this thing is stainless steel, which, by the way, even Apple's, like the Apple Watch, right? The Apple Watch 10, the newest one. Let's take that as an example. It's $50 more than this watch, but it's aluminum. Gross. This buddy is stainless steel, much more durable. The display of the Watch 8 is of course OLED, and as always, it looks incredible. Super contrasty, vibrant, and bright enough to be seen in basically any lighting condition because of its upgraded 3000 nits of brightness. However, Samsung, this is where we don't align with our views. Why not implement the anti-reflective display from the Galaxy S24 Ultra and S25 Ultra into your watches? It's like, if anything, this needs it more than the phone does. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very bright. I'm shining it at my light, but I can clearly see the light. I can actually see the filament of the light bulb through my watch. I'm not even kidding. I'll actually try to record this and show you guys. So yeah, it is very reflective, which, all smartwatches are, I think. But Samsung, that's exactly why you should implement an anti-reflective coating to this, because you'll be the first ones. And then your watch will become so much better. Now, one cool trick about this smartwatch, and well, I don't know if it's a trick or a feature, but you can swipe your finger around the bezel of the watch to scroll, similar to something like spinning the crown on other watches. That's pretty cool, and I'm embarrassed to say that I completely forgot about this feature and only realized it by accident. So if you're new to Samsung smartwatches and you have this watch, well, now you know you can do that. When it comes to battery life and performance, it's been great. This is using the Exynos W1000 chip, which hasn't really changed from the prior Watch 7, but regardless, nothing seems laggy or glitchy. Everything runs smoothly, and where you will see an improvement is the battery life, because the Watch 8, it did get a slight bump. Is it going to be a game changer? Well, no. It's still going to get you around a day to a day and a half of battery life, and by the way, that is with the always-on display turned on, and that is with around 45 to 30 minutes of activity tracking, depending on how lazy I feel that day. So it's fine, it's pretty common and pretty average among these kinds of smartwatches, but I do wish we can get more battery life out of them. That's kind of why I always seem to gravitate towards Garmin. Don't get me wrong, Garmin is definitely not as pretty to look at, but you have 40 days of battery life and you still get notifications, calls, activity tracking, you know, so on and so forth. So Wear OS 6, well, it's very similar. Swipe right to access notifications, swipe left to access your widgets, swipe down to access your control panel, and then swipe up to access all of your apps. So what's up with the buttons? By the way, a lot of you guys get mad when I say button because there's obviously a T, but I don't pronounce the T because I don't want to say button, so get used to it. Well, a top button is going to be your home button, which takes you back to your home screen from any point, and if you hold it, oh look, now you get Google Gemini Assistant built right in. Meanwhile, Apple is still trying to figure out Siri a whole OS later. You know, dude, that's so weird. Double tapping the top button is customizable, and I have mine set to workouts because of how athletic I am. Clearly. The bottom button can be used to show your recent apps, or it can be used as a back button, which is also true for back swiping using the screen. I really like these redundancies of like having a back button and a back swipe, because like if you're wearing gloves that may or may not work with a touch screen, well, at least you can still, you know, go back using the button. Now, as far as health tracking goes, I found it to be extremely accurate. Like I say, I always gravitate towards Garmin for my health tracking because, well, that's like its like sole purpose. Like that's what Garmin is known for. And with prior Samsung smartwatches, I believe it was actually the 6th or the 5th, it got step tracking so inaccurate. Like I don't know what happened. I even tried to factory reset it thinking, okay, maybe like the OS is being buggy, but like no, it was getting like almost 1,000 extra steps with that watch. With this watch, however, it's maybe a couple hundred off, which is incredible. Like if I'm going to compare something and I see one of those somethings to be 1,000 off of like what the other one is saying, I'm going to feel a little weird. I'm like, okay, which one of you are lying to me? However, when it's only a couple hundred off, that's fine. Like I'm good with that. Like, please, Samsung, keep it up. The same can be true for sleep tracking. With prior Samsung smartwatches, I don't know, maybe it's just bad luck on my end, but it just never was accurate for sleep. I just found it to be a huge battery waste because it wasn't accurate at all. Like sometimes it would count even after I woke up already. With this one, gone, no issues. Remember in the beginning, I talked about the improved heart rate thanks to the redesign? And yeah, so when I compared it to my Garmin, and I also compared it to the treadmill because the treadmills have those little heart rate handles. So I compared it with 2 other devices. Surprisingly, 3 to 5 beats off. That's nuts. Like that's super good. That's basically like within the margin of error of like any health tracker in my opinion. So it's been doing really good. And it's also been auto detecting workouts such as walking or running very accurately. Like it actually pops up on screen actually faster than it does on my Apple Watch. I gotta say, man, Apple Watch for me hasn't really been all that accurate. Like me and my wife will go walking through the park and then her watch would be like, oh, it looks like you're working out. Then I look at my watch, I didn't get that message. Am I not working out too, Apple? Huh? It seems like Samsung actually listened to the customers, the people who are buying their stuff, and actually improved on everything that was a minus with previous Galaxy watches. So I can definitely see this being in my rotation of smartwatches that I use, and I really like it. But is it better than the OnePlus Watch 3? Well, I guess video coming soon. So what do you guys think of the Watch 8? Love it, hate it? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, definitely click that like button. And if you're new here, and like I said, you like no BS tech reviews, definitely subscribe. As always, this was Mark from Mark's Tech. Adios.